When you want to get something as heavy as a train moving, and in this case I mean the hype train, you need something with a big engine to get things started. And Wizards of the Coast is looking for Phyrexia All Will Be One to get them started. Wizards of the Coast had a plan all along, and it was to get us to buy in to the insane power level they're about to give us with Phyrexia All Will Be One. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today as we go over the insane cards they've been sharing with us. I haven't covered a lot of spoilers in this set yet, just a couple I've talked about with friends. But when I started reading the cards and looking at it for today's video, the power level's just off the charts on so many of these cards. And when you fit it into standard, you're like, this is just going to be nuts. But not only that, they gear these cards for Commander and other formats for other sets. So it's kind of, you know, a two-tiered system they're giving us, but it's all part of the plan to get the hype train back on track, to get people on board and spending money again. We've got to go over some of these cards today so you can kind of see where they're going with it, but also how it'll fit into their plan going forward. When they saw the failure of Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, those dismal sales, double feature, they knew they had to do something. They knew they had to ramp it up, and it was probably enough time that they just rejig this set a little bit, add a little bit of power that just drove players insane when they started to see these cards. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's start off with the first one here, and that is going to be Sword of Forge and Frontier. Now, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and green. Okay, great card. Love the imagery. I wish it said protection from Phyrexians, though. You know, it kind of fit with the lore more. Now, whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. I am okay with this card. It kind of fits with the whole flipping and milling I see a lot of the cards doing, but I don't consider it a very overly powerful card for a mythic. It's kind of meh when I compare this against other mythics of the time. So the extra land's kind of nice, but nothing huge. Now, Monument to Perfection. Oh, look at the artwork. Look at Ellis Noran. Crazy stuff, guys. Now, this one is a 2-drop generic artifact. 3, search your library for a basic sphere or locust land, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Think about all those kinds of lands this is going to work with in Commander. Think of the locust lands. Think of the cards that will be coming forward years from now. This card is going to have some playability. It's going to have some fun. Now, 3, Monument to Perfection becomes a 9/9 Phyrexian construct creature, loses all abilities, and gains indestructible and toxic 9. Activate only if there are 9 or more lands with different names among the basic sphere and locust lands you control. May not be for now, but it's going to be at some point. This can find its way into Tron. You can find it into so many things, guys. That is an insane card to think about. It's just scary. I can see all kinds of playability factors. Now, I'm not going to talk that much about Ellis Noran other than the fact people want the card. They're going to want to power up with this thing and have a blast, and that is something you really shouldn't ignore, because when the pre-pricing comes out for this, I think this card's actually be very difficult to get. From what we've been seeing with the sets lately, they're making the track printing more difficult. Ellis Noran, the mother of machines, will not be an easy card to get. Even with all the variations they're giving us, I think it's going to be a little more difficult, and certain iterations of that variation are going to be really hard to come across. Now, Jace the Perfected Mind. This is a mythic that I think has a lot of playability. You can do the Phyrexian casting cost, but let's just say you pay the 3. The fact it can give the -3, -0 to nuke a creature a little bit, you know, make it a little more timid and not do anything to you, that's pretty good. Now, target player on the second power, it says -2. Target player mills 3 cards. Then if their graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards. Otherwise, you draw a card. All right. I look at this and say, drawing a card for a -2, that's not a really great power. But when you build it into Commander decks or other decks that want cards in graveyards, this can be insane. And then the last power is so powerful. Target player mills 3 times X cards. Think about in Commander, it's a 100-card deck, but there are so many ways of ramping up and making people discard that this card has real playability because it's a 3-drop. Yes, it says 4, but you can just pay the Phyrexian 2 life, get this thing out there, basically instantly on turn 2 and start doing nasty things. Do not underestimate this card. It may not see playability like right away, but the one thing cards like this have going, and that is Sheildren's Edict. Look at this card. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token. Each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. Look at the choices you get. But also, this is a commander card. It says each opponent, which means in a commander game, it is a roundabout effect that's going to mess up all kinds of people for 1 black and 1 other. Planeswalkers do not have the power they used to have. They are not as scary and unstoppable as they were in the early days. They are being treated now like regular creatures, basically. A legendary creature of a sort. They don't really seem to have the power level they used to have, and that makes it a little bit disappointing to me to think that that's how we're dealing with it. But when they give us cards like that, that's what they're telling us. They're telling us these cards can be dealt with no problem. Even though this guy can travel between worlds and upset entire continents, don't worry, you can deal with him with 1 spell. I don't like that idea of it, but I love what the card does. I love what it represents in the speed of the game and what players can do and what effects they can get off on each other by just casting a simple spell around the table, knocking everybody out. And that's something that Phyrexia All Will Be One really has going for it. Like when we take a look here, there's the good old Staff of Domination. Now look at the Staff of Completion. A total takeover and Phyrexianized version of the card. It's a 3-drop. It says pay 1 life, destroy target permanent you own. Think about that. Somebody tries to take control of your stuff and you just blow it up to stop them from taking it. That is amazing. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. Amazing when you gotta have the right mana at the right time. Pay 3 life and proliferate. That is a disgusting power that we'll see play. Pay 4, draw a card. Think about all the ways we have of giving ourselves life. Think of Sheildren. Sheildren is, every time you draw a card, you get 2 life. This card's going to make you pay 4 life. You're going to draw a card, and so you're really only losing 2 life every time you draw a card. That is just an insane power to think about. And then, hey, let's pay 5 and untap the staff. Guys, the card is broken in Standard. It's going to be crazy, but it's also going to find a home in things like Commander, where you start untapping it and drawing and untapping it and drawing. People just aren't looking at these things the way they should be. Wizards has ramped things up. They are going next level, and it is crazy to think about the effects you are going to see with some of these cards integrating with one another. The synergy they're going to show later on blows my mind. Commander is going to the next level with cards like this entering the play. When you start seeing players and the combinations they brew at home, I am by no means a top level tier builder anymore, like I used to be back in the day. But when you sit down and you look at just a few cards, you go, I can do all this. Imagine what somebody who really pays attention can create and get started in a Commander deck. It is going to be amazing. And they're artifacts. That Staff of Completion, that thing goes anywhere. And mix it with a Staff of Domination, even better, guys. Wow. I don't know what Wizards is thinking, but they want us to get on board with this. They want you to buy the product. They want you to dive into it. I mean, I saw that other card they had. I didn't even put it up today. The Arena, Phyrexian Arena, where it says every turn you lose a life but draw a card. But if that's with Sheildren, it's gain a life and draw a card. Because every time you draw a card, you gain 2 life if Sheildren's in play. This is wow. And they're both going to be in Standard together. Yeah, people better have a lot of roadkill stuff to take stuff out. You are going to need ways of monopolizing the board and getting control, because people who can get their stuff going first and keep it on the board, it's going to be insane. It has to be by design because it's a Standard set. They meant for these sets to interact with one another. They're meant to play together, and that's what gets me. You mix that with the artifacts we've seen in Brothers War, we're entering a whole new world of pain for a lot of people out there. And it's by design. Because they've done this with money in mind. And a lot of players will not be able to resist the urge to buy cards, singles or boxes. This set will be remembered at some point, guys. And this is just the ones we've seen so far. I think, and also that new Phyrexia card. Whoa, with that battle effect. We don't even know what that is yet. What a teaser. Crazy stuff. If you haven't seen that, just take a look at the bottom of the card. It says battle, crazy stuff. We don't know what battle is yet, as far as I know. Unless somebody else has heard something, you gotta let me know. You gotta let the Nachos and Cheese King here let me know, because I'm curious. Guys, crazy times out there. And it's by design. They want us to buy into that power level, and they want to get you back on the hype train. How do you feel about that? That's what I want to know. And hey, if you're new to the channel, you've just found me in this Nacho Cheese universe, hey, think about hitting that subscribe button. Free to do, helps the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Put some comments in the comment section. Of course, guys, turn on your notification bell so you never miss my content. It comes up each and every day. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic Magic day. Try not to get Phyrexianized. And let's see, because this set's only a couple of weeks away, right after Dominaria Remastered. Where are we going? I don't know. This is going to be... Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Big shout out to all the fantastic patrons I have on my channel, supporting me each and every day as we bring content out to you. Thanks again to those fantastic patrons. I'll see you guys soon. What was Wizards thinking?